There's certain things I've always just felt I knew. Even when people tell me that's not how it is, I felt like I knew. And so I started reading about how you can heal yourself if you know you can heal yourself.
And we want to welcome all of his Glory Nation, from east to west to north to south. Welcome back, Take 5, August the 23rd. Happy Tuesday. And yes, I'm back. Thank you for all your prayers. It was a rough week last week. The food poisoning got to me. I was telling Dr. Christina Rahm before we came on, I couldn't even get water down, but I did take root. I knew that would help try to get that out of my system. So it was one of the only things that I could take. All right, we're going to introduce our dear friend, Dr. Christina Rahm. It's good to see you, Doctor.
I need one of those camouflage hats.
We're going to get you one.
I need to order one.
No, we'll get you one. I'll send you a camouflage hat. All right, I'm writing it down. And you're going to go to Israel with me, right?
I am. I really want to go. I want to go in November, but I'm trying to figure out how I can do that during Thanksgiving because my entire family comes to my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely February if I can't in November. So I just need to get the dates and make sure I don't schedule anything else.
That's right. You schedule. And you're going to be traveling here for a whole month.
Yeah, I'm actually start traveling September. I'm in Austin for a week, and then I go over to London and Cyprus, and then I'm gone most of the month of October traveling. Going to the Middle East a lot, actually, through the end of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what will you be doing there?
I am working on some healthcare initiatives in Cyprus and with Turkey, with pharmacies and different things that we're doing, and then with Root as well. And then I am doing different talks for science, like the Nanobiotechnology Convention in the Middle East. I'm speaking. I'm doing 4 talks on 4 patents that I've written, and then a workshop on 13 other patents that I've worked on. And then I am doing some stuff for the Future Innovation Funds, which are looking at a lot of things, just incorporating where we're moving in the future. So really outside the box, because I do a lot of environmental stuff as well. So I am trying to help with the land, air, and soil cleanup in some of these areas.
Wow, and you go to a lot of places that are really needed too.
Yeah. I need to go to Africa and South Africa, but I'm going to probably wait till next year. I'm like you. I just travel a lot wherever I'm needed to try to help with some of these things. And as we talked about, you know this, you've spent so much time in your career in the military.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of different chemicals used in different, land, air, and the basically water everywhere. And so they just need some help with the cleanup in certain areas. But also we're working on some initiatives that have to do with social and mental health and stuff like that. So
never a dull moment with you, is there? You're always going.
Well, I hope that I'm making a difference like you are to try to help people's lives and to spread my true love of Christ, as well as to spread, science that we're helping. Because I get a lot of people that are confused that I'm a nanobiotechnologist, and they'll say, well, isn't that what has created all these bad things? And my answer, and I think you've probably heard me say this, I feel called to learn about all those things so that I can help solve some of them with his direction, of course, of what I need to do with God's direction. But it takes understanding. You know this, when you have an enemy or you have something dark, you have to understand it in order to help fix it.
Yeah, that's exactly true. We had General Boykin on a week ago, and he kind of ruffled a couple people's feathers by saying, you need to look at the fake news every now and then, watch fake news versus the real news, because you need to know what the enemy is saying. You got to be prepared.
It's hard. I understand people not wanting to hear it because it's easier. And I can even say this from my perspective, working in so many countries, it's still easier sometimes for me to just not look at the reality of things and to not accept it because it's uncomfortable, right? It's hard when you were taught love, during your life. And I had this amazing mother that taught me love and what was important, and it was unconditional. And so she showed me Christ's love, right? So I learned. So then I get in this real world as an adult, and it's like sometimes I'm attacked for just doing the right thing, and trying to be honest. It's like now you can't even be honest without getting attacked.
That's right. That's just the badge that we're going to have to wear until the Lord takes us home. And as the Apostle Paul says, finish the race. It's brutal, and it's getting worse and worse, the attacks. But
yeah, I try my best, I think, because I'm not as not that you're political, but you've worked for our government, you've worked for our military, and that's been your life. I've worked as a scientist. I have been brought in to some of the projects, and I don't know what the future will hold for me, but I hold our country dear. I always say this. I know we have issues. I know there's lots of problems, but I'd rather be in my country than any other country. That's how I feel anyway.
That's right. And God is not done with this Eagle Nation. That's why we all have a plan, God's plan. We have to reach out and get God's plan for our lives, no matter what it is. They don't have to be a Dr. Christina Rahm, being a 7 medical degrees, or be a pastor, or each person has a gift from God that they can bring to the table that is so important in this day.
I've always been just astonished at all that you've done. And when I first met you, I didn't realize it. And then I started looking into everything you've done, and it's amazing how you're able to touch so many people despite people trying to stop you from doing that. And I think that says a lot, because I know there's got to be days where you don't want to get out of bed, or that you just want to rest, I'm sure.
Yes, there are. Yep. I remember a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, I started to feel sorry for myself. Lord, why am I felt terrible. Why am I doing this? And he says, he in a stern voice, he says, isn't it my glory? And I said, oh, yes, sir. Here we go. I'm not complaining again.
You can't.
No, we work for him.
Yeah, we do. So I need to interview on my podcast, because we are just launching it again, which is why I brought up YouTube. And I don't get to ask you questions, and it upsets me because you're always asking me questions on this show. I want to be able to ask you questions.
I love that. We had another doctor has been on several times, Dr. Naomi Wolf. She turned it around on me, has been asking questions about Messiah, because she's Jewish.
Yeah.
So it's been very fascinating. Steve Bannon and I had a talk about that when I was in Missouri, because she's on the War Room with Steve Bannon a lot. So do you want to talk about what's going on with Root? I tell you what, I took my shake today again. That's about the only thing I've been able to eat recently is shakes and take the Root.
Did you Give Me Back My Youth with the Relive?
Yes, I do. I put it all together, and I put a little vitamin C in there, and shake it all up, and right here, Give Me Back My Youth.
We have great before and after pictures with Give Me Back My Youth. So I don't know if you look at your skin and how everything's doing, but we've had phenomenal pictures, just people taking it in their coffee or in a smoothie, and how it helps with the skin, and the look of the skin, which it's hard for people to understand this, but collagen and colostrum are one of the main things that really feeds the skin, which composes about 80% of your body. So if you take something that's replenishing that, it really helps. And then I think the mitochondria defense shield, which has the NAD in it, has really helped with that as well, because NAD is what is in your body. Every living organism has NAD. And if you are approached with an autoimmune disorder or a virus, or if you're just aging, your NAD is depleted, which means the glutathione is depleted, the mitochondria runs out of fuel, and most companies can only have a stability with NAD for 2 weeks to 3 weeks. And I was able to stabilize the NAD and mitochondria defense shield for 2 years, so that when you take it, you're replenishing that NAD, which gives you the strength to really fight all these things. And it's a topic we don't talk about enough. A lot of people don't even understand what NAD is, and so they don't know that their body has to have it.
Yeah, and I tell you that the 3 days that I was down, the only thing I could take was a shake, And the first day I couldn't take anything, but the rest was just the true shake to get some nutrition into me, and also the root, and it helped.
I'm glad. We have gotten more and more case studies, even with the long COVID. And I don't know, am I allowed to even say that on this show?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. So we have doctors from all over the world that are sending us case studies where they're using the Trinity. You know, they're using the Clean Slate and the Zero In, and they're using Restore. And now they've added the Relive Greens and the Give Me Back My Youth and the Natural Barrier Support. But they've had just great results, even with hair loss, because people are losing their hair. And a lot of people are having issues, you know, with the heart and the different things, especially if they had. And so they're trying to help. We're trying to help people. And hopefully we are helping people through this nightmare and this attack.
Yeah.
You know, that I think, for another thing that I think is really important to me that I want to say to your audience is the emotional, mental, and psychological stress this has caused so many people. The products address that, because, you know, that's my background. I was a psychologist, and then I ended up becoming a scientist. And neurotransmission is so important, not just to what you're thinking and your emotion, but also to your physical health. And so the products that you're taking really should be assisting the body in all those different areas as well. Because it's not that I'm against antidepressants. It's not that I'm against drugs for ADHD. It's that if you can give your body what it needs naturally, then you don't have all the side effects that you get from a lot of the medications.
That's right, and it makes you feel better, and it's a lifesaver, literally. And I take it literally every day. I think I told you this about maybe a month ago. Some people I know didn't know any better and took the jab, and they wondered what to use. And I told them to get the Clean Slate and the Trinity. And the success rate from there's 5 people that I told to do that, and all 5 came back from their doctors, and they're doing extremely well.
Yeah, I don't worry. You know, we can't make claims to cure anything, but I can tell you this: if people are on those products and taking at least 20 to 30 drops of that after they had the shot and everything, I feel so much better. You know, many people in my family have taken it. I think it was a rude awakening for a lot of people close to me that didn't, you know, a lot of people didn't have an option. Like, if you're a doctor in a major hospital system, they didn't get an option. They had to take it. And I have a lot of doctors in my family. But the problem is that, you know, the side effects that are long acting, it's just almost devastating. And then the CDC comes out and says it doesn't matter whether you were or weren't. Like, someone asked me during an interview, what did that mean to you? And I said it meant they were apologizing without apologizing.
Yeah, so let's just back up a second and have you explain that, because that was last week the CDC came and did a reversal. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. They did what I said in the beginning. Not that I shouldn't have said that. I said, like, I knew. I just figured they'd have to somehow come out and say, they would either hide it, or they'd have to come out and say, you know, this is not any different than if you haven't. Because when you reach natural immunity, you can do that actually quicker without, and herd immunity, you can reach it. You can do that quicker without actually giving people, you know, and so we would have reached it at the same time, probably before, actually, if we wouldn't have given everyone these. But I think that, you know, a lot of governments felt like this is what had to happen. A lot of people in power did not have an option. I don't think a lot of some of the people that I think were in power, I don't think they wanted to mandate it. Like, I think mandating was another step in the wrong direction. I think giving people the option is something you can do as long as you tell people all the facts. And the truth is, we didn't have the facts, right? This was something that was released, and even on younger children. And so, you know, now they're seeing some of the side effects. And I think instead of talking about a lot of the side effects, which we've seen, which are heart problems and, you know, brain clots. We see a lot of even younger athletes now, such a higher percentage of death. A lot of your cardiologists are starting to step up and say, you know, this is causing this, or has caused this probably. But, you know, instead of them saying, we just released this and didn't know what was going to happen, they're just saying, you know, you need to take preventative measures to fight different mutations of COVID, whether it's or whether it is supplements, or whether, they give this whole list of things. And so they didn't say anything, but they said everything, because they said whether you are or not doesn't make a difference. Whether you're going to get sick, or how long you're going to get sick, or how bad you're going to get sick. So it went from, this is going to prevent this, to it doesn't make a difference. But what does make a difference, and this is what I will say, are the side effects. And so for me, medication always comes with side effects, and I'm not against the pharmaceutical industry, but if you're going to have side effects, you've got to get them out of your body. You've got to get the things out and really clean the body. And so for me, I think one of my missions is explaining to people, you don't need to lose hope. You don't need to be upset and think your life's over, or you can't control anything. Instead, you just need to take control and put things in like the clean slate that can help rip it out, and then support the body with what it needs. I think that's one of the reasons the mitochondria defense shield was so important to me, because one of the things that happens with NAD and quercetin is it protects the DNA mutation. So a lot of people will say, once this happens, and I've heard a lot of even doctors talk about, once that mutation happens, you can't take it back. But the truth is, if you can give your body something to stop that progression that really can assist the body naturally, you can impact that. And another thing with NAD and quercetin is they help with chromosomal deficiencies and issues, right? Which is one of the things that can occur with all of this. So rather than me making any claims, because I can't, what I will say is, if you can put these things in your body, you can assist the body to stop the process, because it's like a war. When you start a war, it grows, right? It can get out of hand. It gets worse and worse and worse, and it's needed sometimes, right? But if it's a war that's not needed, you want to stop it. And in your body, when this war is occurring by these unnatural things that are in there, you've got to stop the inflammation, and we call it a cascade. You've got to stop it so that you don't have all these autoimmune disorders and all these diseases and all these illnesses. And that's the purpose of giving your body things for prevention. And so here's the choice, I guess the CDC said. You can do things with prevention of this virus with either a that's not natural, that's synthetic, that you keep putting into your body to simulate or you can do things by naturally building up your immune system. So it's whatever people want to choose, right?
That's right. And that just opened up the door for massive lawsuits. They're starting left and right now because of what the CDC just said. People that have lost their jobs, lost their livelihood because they had to they didn't want to take it and had to lose their job. So you're seeing a reversal now.
I don't think they had an option but to release that, though, because of what happened over in the UK and England and all those areas. They revolted against the government on that.
Yep.
And said, this is not okay. And their system's a little bit different than ours. So I think when that happened, it made us have to step up and provide some explanation as to why this has happened. But I can't believe, I would think there would be a lot of lawsuits. I don't know how that works. I'm not a lawyer, obviously, but I know people unfortunately signed documents saying that they were taking it as an experiment, basically, and that they didn't hold the doctor or the government responsible. So I don't know how they're going to go around that in court, but I would assume that if enough people do something, they will be able to go around it.
Yeah, it's starting to take traction. We've been fighting for whistleblowers in our military because all branches of the military were being forced. They were kicking lieutenant colonels out with 19 years of experience, and if they didn't take the job, they would be dishonorably discharged, no pension. I mean, that's what our government was doing to our military, and we had a huge breakthrough from a judge with the U.S. Air Force, and it sounds like there's a breakthrough coming with the Marines now too.
So will they be able to get their pensions and get their lives back? Because I think that's horrible that happened to them.
If these judges make rulings in favor like they did with the Air Force, yes. So we're seeing the momentum change dramatically. But think about a 19-year lieutenant colonel. I mean, that's the most seasoned you can possibly get in our military, and that supports our country. That's a national security crisis. And you treat them like that? You give them a dishonorable discharge because they say no to it?
Well, I think, for me, and maybe I'm just so naive, but I have to tell you, for me, the freedom of speech and the right to make your own decision, I can't believe how that has changed over the last 2 years. It's just, my kids are like, Mom, this is so hard to grow up in. And I, of course I don't say this to them, but it's hard for me too, because
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I really don't. It's traveling to, I spent quite a bit of time in China. I spent quite a bit of time in Russia, and, Hungary, different areas that have changed now dramatically over the last 10 years. But I just didn't think we would ever, we'd ever have to worry about any of those things here. So,
Well, praise God, I think we're seeing a boomerang effect. You saw that he announced his resignation yesterday. He'll be stepping down in December. So that's another good thing.
I need you to give me some good news.
That is good news.
I know that's good news. I did know that. And I'm hoping that's a step in the right direction. And I'm not shocked by that, because the backlash of the CDC announcement, it's going to be, people are going to start being very mad. And then when you have more and more, for me, having kids that are athletes, and I don't know if you pay attention to this, you probably do, but just the amount of 20-year-olds that I know, and 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds that are dying from heart attacks and brain aneurysms and stuff like that. It just, honestly, it blows my mind. It really did. There's no way to ignore it when it's happening in your personal life and people. And that's what's happened with me. I don't know how your life has been, but a lot of people that I've known have been impacted. Even one of my best friends. I mean, it's horrible.
It is horrible.
It really is.
Many that I know have been impacted and taken the jab and fallen down or are no longer with us. It's at a peak age. I mean, I was looking at a stat yesterday. I don't remember the name of the insurance company, but 163% increase in life insurance in the prime of people's lives, and they're saying it is because of the jab.
Well, I know the statistics on the heart issues. Like, you can't even, like, I had a doctor from Vanderbilt that was talking to me the other day, and two of my good friends actually go to him that have had heart attacks since this happened, since they got the. But he's telling them he's had an increase in 70% more patients, and he's been very honest with my friends and said this is why this happened. And that's, Vanderbilt's a pretty. It's kind of like Harvard and Johns Hopkins. They definitely were, I don't know how to say this, shaming people if they didn't get vaccinated, trying to make you feel like something's wrong with you because you decided not to. And I went through, I can't even tell you how much criticism I got through and for me, it was my personal decision. And I kept saying, listen, I worked on some of this, and I've been vaccinated so many times, because I'm sure you had to when you were in the military. When I go into these countries, but for this particular situation, I knew, I knew the numbers, I knew the research behind it, and it was not a personal choice for me. If I would have taken it, which some of my main people in my family, my closest, family members have, I would have just taken my products the whole time. And to be honest, because of how that was made and the communication that's involved with, because I know people know this, but I just want to make sure they really know. When you do something from a nanotechnology perspective, or from a perspective of injecting people, it can communicate in different ways. Like us being on the phone, we're on Zoom. So you guys can accept that we're talking, even though I'm in Nashville. Do you know what I mean? And we're not in the same room. We're in completely different states, but it's because of different energy levels and how it's been programmed. It's the same way in the body. And if you're trying to solve an issue which is airborne, then that shot is made in a different way. So we were all impacted, one way or another. So the truth is, we just have to take our bodies into our own hands and really protect ourselves, and really try to get the bad things out, break down the communication so there's no longer this signaling between the bad cells and the viral cells, and then really support our bodies. And it's that simple to me. It really is. That's what we have to do. Whether you're on a plane or not, or whether you're, at your house every day, you still have to protect your body and provide for it.
That's right. And I know a lot of frontline doctors, you know the names. They stood up for truth, and they've had death threats. They've had every kind of threat you can possibly imagine. But God bless them, they stood strong and kept people hopeful and kept the word out, and it's making a change.
Well, I know, and I think some of those people that I know that even went to jail.
Yes.
I mean, they were willing to stand up for what was right, and they're crusaders. They're really heroes, but they've been made into villains, unfortunately, for some of the population that we have here in the United States. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and made to sound like they're quacks and don't know what they're talking about, and they're the world's best doctors that put everything on the line, their reputation, their practice, everything to save people, because most of them are lovers of Jesus Christ, and the other ones that we know are really close.
You're getting them there.
Yeah, they ask a lot of questions, sometimes publicly live on His Glory. So.
Hey, I always tell people, I always look at the Jewish people. I mean, they're God's chosen people.
That's right.
So it's awesome that you're spending time in those conversations. I almost converted to Judaism at one point, but their family were Messianic Jews. So
yeah.
Well,
Israel will change everything when you go to Israel with us. I can't even put it into words how incredible it is.
Well, I'm extremely excited to do that. Did you spend a lot of your career in Israel?
No, I just loved Israel. I loved Israel for a long time because God loves Israel. That's where His heart is. And I didn't even know I was Jewish until about 6 or 7 years ago. So I loved Israel and Jerusalem before I even knew I was from the line of the tribe of Judah. So
I didn't know that till you just told me. I want to be from that line. That's the chosen line.
Yeah. Who would know? Who would
How
ever?
did you find that out?
It was an actual family member that I'd never met at a funeral came up to me and says, "I'm so jealous of you." And I'm saying, "Well, jealous of me? Why?" She goes, "You're Jewish." And I go, the Scarlett family, they're always kidding and laughing. I thought it was a joke. Yeah, I'm Jewish. And then she showed me all the paperwork and Lowenstein. And then I remember, oh, yeah, my great-grandmother, her name was Orah, which is light in Hebrew, and Lowenstein is the house of David and the lion, the symbol of the tribe of Judah. So it was easy to research which tribe I was from.
Did they go to the Jewish? Synagogue? I mean, did they go to that or no?
No, not that I know of. Maybe way back, but my family member was able to trace our Jewish all the way back to like 7, 8 levels into Germany, where Germany is where it came from. Yeah.
But did you serve in the military in the Middle East, correct?
No, I served in Japan. I was in Japan the whole time. I was in Camp Pendleton as a Marine, and then security forces in Japan. That was the only place that I was overseas was Japan.
That's awesome. How long did you live there?
About 1.5 years. I love Japan. It was absolutely a great experience. We guarded the 7th Fleet, which guards the Persian Gulf. So we were on red alert a lot, and it was exciting times. Great country.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time there, and I enjoy it. It's probably one of my favorite countries over. And I say Asia. They get upset with me when I'm speaking there, and they said it's not Asian countries. Did you know that a lot of them don't like you to say that?
Oh yeah, they don't like each other.
No, they don't like each other. I was and of course Vietnam, you've got North and South Vietnam, but everyone's always asked me which side do you like better, and I'm scared to comment.
I like them. I like them both.
That's what I say, and I actually do like them both. They're North and South Vietnam are actually extremely different.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. It's like you're in a different country. So, but Japan is much calmer to me than Vietnam.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I enjoyed my time in Japan. So in closing, can you walk us through the products and how they can get them?
Yes. So Clean Slate is a product that really helps with going into the body and really eradicating and taking things out that shouldn't be there. Inside your body, I tell people this a lot, it's a city. and the cells are talking, and there's viruses, there's bacteria, fungus, parasites. We're born with that. But it's when it becomes overloaded or when a bad virus or bacteria comes in that we're really at risk. And that can cause an epigenetic, that can cause a disease or an illness because environmental factors do that. So you need to really rip things apart and clean the inside, just like you brush your teeth or wash your face. So Clean Slate, it is a product made to do that and even help rip apart the heavy metals and those environmental toxins inside so you can get them out so that your body is more at peace inside and so that you can have a healthier, younger looking inside, which is important. And I say this, everything I do is anti-aging. And when people ask me why, I say because your cells when they're younger can fight stronger, right? You got to clean them out. So that's your first step. And then the Restore is there to really restore the body using a lot of roots that have to do with turmeric, curcumin, resveratrol, black cumin seed, aloe vera, apple cider vinegar, all those things that if you look at the different autoimmune disorders, they always recommend different things for people to take. And I really utilized sourcing those in different countries and working in these different places where I saw how they treated people without medication for these things. And that product really is meant to restore the cells. So you're cleaning it, then you're restoring it back to health and really helping those cells look and feel better. And then zero in, and we call it the Trinity, the first three. The zero in is so that your neurotransmitters in the brain can actually work more effectively. And that also helps the heart and the stomach because your neurotransmitters are really your communication within the body. So if you think of it, that's got to work for the body to work effectively. And so it's not just mental health. Like a lot of people hear neurotransmitters and they think depression and anxiety, Alzheimer's. And yes, those are all impacted by neurotransmission, but your whole physical health is also. And zero in really helps you focus. It helps you really be more alert. The product was made for performance, regardless of what you were doing. So we have a lot of professional athletes, a lot of people in the military. It's BSBG approved, which means all of the products at Root can be used by professional athletes or by people that are in the Olympics or everything because they're not considered something that's synthetic, that's altering. But zero in is an adaptogenic, which means it adapts to what you need that day. And those are pretty hard to make. They're able to work with each individual system. So people take either 1 0 in to 4 0-ins a day. I never recommend taking all 4 at once, even though people do.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people to take 1 or 2 in the morning and 1 or 2 at lunch. I only take usually 1 a day, sometimes 2. I don't know what you do, but
I do 1.
Yeah, I do 1. And that just makes me feel like I'm able to concentrate a little bit more. It's all natural. So I only use natural ingredients in that and everything that I do. That's how I make the products. And then we have the Relive greens, which is the 21 greens. And it's really like a meal replacement. It's my favorite. I love it. I put that product way up there because many of you guys know I've had a brain tumor and it was something that I worked on years ago, and I was able to source really what I wanted from the roots of plants, from the actual husk and the stem. I did not want any of the sprouted seeds on the greens because I wanted it to be gluten-free. And I wanted to make sure that there weren't any GMOs. And so that product is a very strong product that can last up to 2 months unless you take more than the recommended dosing. And it's a small bottle, but it's so impactful that you only have to use a little bit. I do that with the Give Me Back My Youth, which is collagen and colostrum, which really helps support the skin and the aging process as well, so that your body can have collagen and colostrum for your hair, your nails, and your skin. So all of you that have issues with that, this is something that really helps support that process in your body so that you basically are able to support the outside, but also the ligaments and the inside muscles and everything, because you've got to have collagen and colostrum. And then the last one's the mitochondria shield support, which I love. It's or defense shield. It's for the NAD. And again, your NAD is what you need in the body to help you really stay young. You know, longevity and aging you have this genetic component, but you can alter that and change that if you impact your health. So the age of your cells inside are not your actual age. And so that goal with that product was really to help people have the strength to fight off things, but also to assist the body in the process so that even if you're not genetically prone to look young when you're older, it helps with that process with longevity.
I've never asked you this question. I didn't even know this term existed until about 3 weeks ago. Have you heard of fog, or
Yes.
the the system just never gets out of your system after you've had it? This would work for that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that really helps. This whole system is something that was designed because I had Lyme disease. And with Lyme disease, they diagnosed me with rheumatoid arthritis, and then I had the prolactinoma brain tumor and spinal tumor. I was so tired of going to a doctor and getting a diagnosis.
Yeah.
And I kept going back to this virus that I got from Lyme disease is impacting my body. And I've just got to clean everything out. I've got to really sweep it out. And the spiral sheets with Lyme disease are what really like lay the eggs and stay in the system. It's the same way with viruses, and we just don't talk about it a lot. It can stay imprinted just like cancer stays imprinted in the body. So you've really got to reset everything. And it can't be something that you're like, oh, I'm going to take this one for one day.
Right.
It's got to be something that you really focus on your body. And I say this, I am not one of these individuals that think it has to be me, or you. You know, we've lived this world of individualism to the extent that we think that all that matters is me. And I'm not for that. What I am for, though, is protecting what God gave you. And I really believe as a doctor and a scientist that we each are really miracles, but we've got to take care of ourselves. And I think it's a sin. I'll be honest. I think it's a sin to not take care of our bodies, because this is how we're going to stay here. And this is how we're going to help others. So this product line is meant to help people individually and in its own way. And some people, when you have COVID, you have all these other things that have happened. And I don't want people to give up, because you can clean out the system. You can support the system. And then God works miracles. You know, I mean, he really does. You have to understand that he has things in front of us that we're like, that's too good to be true. But the true answer is no, nothing's too good to be true. He's smarter and better than all of us.
That's right. And he reminds us that every day, if our heads get too big, he has a way of popping that and putting us back in line, because it's his glory, not our glory.
Not our glory, yeah.
Well,
and one of my things I love about this show is that I feel that. So thank you for bringing that humility and that truthfulness into my life.
Thank you, Dr. Christina. It's always a blessing to be with you, and I can't wait to see you in Israel.
Me either. I can't believe we haven't met in person.
Soon.
I can't wait to meet all of you guys, and thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to us continuing this journey together. Who do I get with to schedule you on the podcast with me?
Our team will get that set up.
Okay.
And I'll get your address to get you a camouflage hat too.
I'm going to wear it on the podcast.
All right. I love it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you.
All right. That wraps up our interview with Dr. Christina Rahm. You can get all these products from Root that truly, truly work. I mean, I don't know what I would have done without the Kingdom Fuel and all the Root products last week. That's the only thing I could take, and it helped, I believe, get me through it quicker than it normally would have. So get the products today on His Glory Family Partners. God bless you, and go in His shalom.